Hello, dear listener.
Something very fun is happening in just a few days, or maybe even today if you're really hitting this close to the target.
Wednesday, April 8th is the 1-year anniversary of the release of our book, Slayers, Every One of Us. To celebrate, we are recording a live Watcher's Diary episode for all of our Patreon subscribers.
It's true. We will be talking about the book, answering your questions, probably hearing Jenny wax poetic on Survivor. I'm really, really excited to learn how you're going to get from Slayers, Every One of Us to Survivor, but I believe in you, Jenny.
I will find a way. We'll be going live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, April 8th. You can find everything you need to know and everything you need to subscribe if you're not already a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/bufferingcast.
If you can't make it live, the video will also be available on demand after the fact.
See you there!
TaxAct knows filing taxes can be confusing, so we have live experts on hand who can help answer any questions you may have. Questions like, can I claim my SUV as my home office if I answer work emails in my car? If I adopted 12 dogs this year, can I list them as dependents? And, am I doing this right or am I doing this very, very wrong? Our experts have the answers to those questions and many others. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Hello and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, once more with spoilers, hashtag Watcher's Diary, subtitle.
Mm-hmm. Make sure the subtitle is big enough for you to read since you're still using hashtags. You know what I'm saying? She's 45.
She's 45.
She's 45. She's 45. She's 45. She's 45.
Oh, Amy in the chat just sort of made it. No, you definitely made it. We're still trying to get the wheels off the ground here. I meant to grab a copy of the book that we're here to celebrate, and there's like 400 of them like around the corner. Oh, Jenny has.
This whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't Jenny being prepared, classic our dynamic, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see me lick my finger before I opened the book?
No, Jenny, that is literally none of my business. By law, actually. Okay, so we're here live.
Once upon...
Shh, shut up, Jenny.
Midnight.
Jenny,
Dreary.
shut up. We're here to celebrate writing a book 1 year. Well, writing a book like 2 years ago, but it being published 1 year ago. You all reading it. And what are we going to do? Nobody knows. But we are going to tell secrets. I asked Jenny permission to tell secrets, which maybe makes them a little less fun. But I did get clearance.
I can't wait to find out what the secrets are. Also, I just want you to know that someone said they read most of the book.
Most of the book. Okay, I mean, you know what? Where did
it's like I'm so touched and like God help me if I could break the read 4 books in 3 years barrier. That would really
The other day, probably in a podcast that may or may not have already aired, I asked Jenny if she had read This Is How You Lose the Time War, and she was like, I read the first 30 pages. And honestly, that book is like 60 pages long. So I feel like, Jenny, there's a buffering book club coming up next Monday. And the book is called Monk and Robot. And it's a combination of 2 shorter books by Becky Chambers. Oh. So every time I'm like, I have to read this book, I'm like, it's just 2 small books. I could read that in such a short amount of time. And now it is Wednesday night, and I only have but a few days, and I've read like 4 pages. So we'll see how I do.
What is a page, really? There are no wrong answers, but I just want to add that the person who said they've read most of it added, I have 1 chapter left. I'm waiting until I get to season 7 in the original podcast. Okay, that's very reasonable. Also, not reading the book is totally reasonable.
Do you want to first of all, if anyone has questions about anything in the chat, go ahead and ask them. We're good at stuff because we are 44 and 45. So we can do 2 things at once. But Jenny, have you seen anything that is not Survivor recently that you wanted to talk about here in the Watcher's Diary?
Have I seen anything that's not Survivor?
Yes, correct. That is the question.
Last night, so Jess runs a Discord wherein a group of people have watched the entire filmography of Kirsten Dunst chronologically, and now they are watching the entire filmography of Parker Posey. And so last night, I rewatched The Sweetest Thing, a movie I once owned on DVD and watched a whole bunch, starring Cameron Diaz, Christina Applegate, and Selma Blair, and Parker Posey. Wow, and even a young Jason Bateman. I would like to recommend this movie. It really holds up.
Well, could you tell me like a plot point? Because I had to have seen this movie.
Christina, a character played by Cameron Diaz, not
Applegate. God damn it. Okay.
She's just like never commits. She's the kind of woman who can have any man she wants, but what she really wants is her freedom.
Okay.
But then she bumps into a guy.
But then Kristin takes the script, but then she bumps into Christina Applegate's character.
There is one really incredible faux homoerotic scene between Cameron Diaz and Christina Applegate, and would recommend.
Wait, Jenny, you have to pause because there's so much happening in the chat, and I told everyone we were going to be able to keep up, but I'm panicking. How did we meet Joanna Robinson? That's a question that I would love to answer. It involves Jenny thinking us never worthy of any friends or coworkers, and me thinking we are worthy of all things. I'm sure that many of you already know this story, but when we were in the first season, or maybe the early part of the second season, Jenny was like, man, Joanna Robinson is so cool. She does a podcast about Game of Thrones, and I listen to it all the time. She does 2 podcasts about Game of Thrones, I think, and I listen to them all the time. And I was like, she's on Twitter. Like, she likes Buffy. Shouldn't I just ask her on Twitter? And Jenny was like, no. She's far too cool. And I was like, enters Joanna's DMs. Maybe I tweeted like straight up at her publicly. I don't remember what I did, but probably I DM'd her and was like, hey, we do this podcast and my wife thinks you're really cool. And would you like to be on it? And Joanna is Joanna. So she was like, I would fucking love to be on your podcast. That sounds awesome. And then, she rules, and we loved her, and we were lucky enough for her to love us too. And the rest is history.
I love her. She won our Survivor fantasy pool last season.
This is the one where she entered it, and Jess's picks were so similar that Jess was like, forget it. I'm going with the pool. I'm going with my picks that are just like absolutely trash.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about Jess.
Oh, and just in case anyone was wondering, I won the season before Joanna, so
I was wondering, because you know what? You look like a winner.
Thank you. Kristin, this is a great opportunity for you to get in the pool since Joanna and I have just won back-to-back. Like, you know what I mean?
That's right, my turn.
It only seems like you're destined.
I have nothing against Survivor, honestly. I just feel like it has been forced upon me more in recent past than I was ready for. So
I don't actually want you to get into it because that would take all the fun out of it for me.
So people are asking about our secrets. Y'all can wait. What are your plans for fall? What are your plans for summer? You'll hear about them later. I'm launching the chat. Jenny, did you have any feelings about our book turning one that you wanted to share?
Wow, I can't believe it seems like only yesterday.
You have a special copy. I could see with my eyes that you have a special copy that's inscribed. I have one too, but you have one right there. Did you have a couple of inscriptions that you wanted to read to our friends?
Just for reference, this is the special edition of the book that was obtained by Scoobies, signed by Scoobies to me How rare that an author would receive a copy of their own book signed by other people.
Truly.
It feels great. The high is unparalleled. Jenny, you are the coolest of the hosts.
You're making that up.
I am. Ooh, have a great summer from Ashley with one of those S's like you draw in a yearbook. Whoa, people saying sincere things that I couldn't possibly read out loud. Oh no, from Stacy. Don't worry, they got a signed they got a copy signed by us for this.
Listen, here's how I feel. I'm really happy that you got a signed book if you got a signed book. But personally, I felt sad when I learned that the signed books were going to be signed on a book plate, because as a book lover myself, I just feel like a book is signed if a book is signed. And if you've signed a sticker and put it in the book, it feels less signed to me. And I'm just saying that, like, if you feel that way, I agree with you. And you know what? If you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, I will just re-sign your book. Send it to Jenny, who will re-sign your book, and then we'll send it back to you. Okay?
The gun of my gun is begun,
Exactly.
Kristin.
Gabby in the chat just said, were the ones from the book event signed? I'm not at home to check. They are signed. They are all signed.
Should be. Should be.
And relatedly, we have a question. What were each of our favorite memories of the book release weekend? Jenny, a year ago, you were running around the halls of Sunnydale High School with a cardboard cutout of me. And I was actually just laying on the couch on the other side of this wall, streaming in, I think pumping. Like, I think I was literally pumping while I was streamed into prom. It was a very wild time for both of us in different ways.
I was so stressed out.
Yeah, because I wasn't there to be in charge.
I know.
It really was a wild time.
And yet some say it was the best prom ever.
Do you have a favorite memory of the weekend?
I was going to say when it was over, because then my entire body was able to unclench.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true in a way. But really, wow. What was the best? Oh my gosh. Wait. Okay, I'm going to tell you a few things.
Great.
Some of my favorite things. Doing the book talk in the auditorium at Sunnydale High School with me and Joanna in regular real life size and a gigantic Kristin on a screen above us, looming over us, fucking Sauron-like. It was... I was
so big. Like, I was so massively big.
Okay, that's one. One was, I don't know if it was during Wild Horses or a different song, but I bet somebody in the chat will know. At one point, it must have been Wild Horses, because it was the big sway along that happens at every prom. But there were so many people in such a large space that they took it upon themselves to form a gigantic circle that became heart-shaped.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Oh my God. I know what your favorite moment of the weekend was. It was Pat handing out empanadas.
That was the headliner that I was about to.
Okay, great.
That was third thing, best thing.
Okay.
Fucking Pat. Someone came dressed as Pat, complete with empanadas to pass out.
Yeah.
And then came up on stage and danced for the entire duration of Dead Man's Party. And then later mailed me a copy of a book from book club.
Oh, I should say my favorite moment of the weekend, even though most of my weekend was spent caring for a very, very small baby and trying to survive. I really do think that for those of you who don't know, there was a giant cardboard cutout, two, I think, giant cardboard cutouts of me that are still in storage in Los Angeles. And
God bless.
Our amazing, wonderful audiobook producer, part of our audiobook team, Chloe, was there in the flesh in Los Angeles and had me on Zoom and flipped the phone around so that my actual face on the phone was in front of my cardboard face on the stage. And that was very special for me. And like I said, I was also pumping, but you couldn't tell because it was just my head. It was just like a real moment. Okay. So
you know what else? Sorry, I got
yes.
One more thing that was pretty amazing for you was that you, as a cardboard cutout, went crowd surfing.
Oh, yeah. I said I would never crowd surf again, and little did I know that I just needed to have a bigger imagination because I didn't count on a cardboard cutout of me attending prom. And now there'll be 2 of me. If I'm actually there, there'll be 3 of me at every future prom. Okay, 2 questions. I don't even know if I have an answer to the first one, and I'm way up here, so don't worry, I'll scroll down and see if there's more questions. But Xena, with a Z, Zena, not to be confused with the warrior princess.
Okay, I'm relaxing again.
Okay. You wrote that you had one draft and then scrapped it and redid it. Was all that material destroyed?
Burned in the fires.
Yeah, I have. Hold on a sec. Jenny might have a copy of like the actual book for this, but I just grabbed a copy of the uncorrected bound manuscript, which was basically we had written like 4 things, and our editor was like, "Okay, so we're gonna print a few copies and send them to people." And Jenny and I were like, "No, you can't do that. You just can't do that." And this is that copy. And no, we didn't scrap it. We used it to rewrite almost all of it because it was basically a switch from everything in the third person to having a lot of it in the first person, in Jenny's voice and in my voice. I'm just flipping through right now to see what it was not good. This book that they made us send to fucking Gabrielle Korn and Tegan Quinn, and it just was so embarrassing for us because we knew that it was not what it was supposed to be. But those folks actually wound up, which I know a lot of you already know, those folks wound up shaping, Tegan specifically, a lot of the book, a lot of the way that we decided to return to the book and rewrite it.
I just want everyone to know, just to be very clear, I am not Kristin Russo, despite the text that you might see at the bottom of my window. I'm not Kristin Russo. First of all,
or are you?
I look a day over 44.
Oh my God, do you want me to tell? I have a story for you that I texted Jenny on Easter Sunday, and I said, "Jenny, I think there's only one thing that could make you happier than Christ rising again. And it is that I just went to Stewart's." So I live right around the corner from a Stewart's, which is pretty common here in upstate New York because everything is right around the corner from a Stewart's. And so I took Sal on a walk in her stroller, and I was like, "I'm going to get a coffee at Stewart's." I never do that. And you know what? I should, because the coffee costs $2. And I was reminded that, oh, right, some people are paying $2 for a cup of coffee while my stupid ass goes to like the fancy coffee shop and pays $5. So I went to Stewart's with my child, and I walked in and I got a coffee, and I went to the counter, and this lovely old lady was at the counter. And she looked at Sal and she said, "Oh, are you having a nice day with Nana?" I was like...
You left out the part that an old woman said this to you.
No, I didn't. You just didn't hear it.
Kristin,
What?
I would have heard that.
Everyone...
There's nothing that could have stopped me.
I said an old woman. I did say it. Thank you, Tori. Anyway.
No. You said it now. You didn't say it when you initially told me.
Yes.
Because I assumed like a 16-year-old said that to you or something.
No.
There's something even better
this
about
lady
it
was
coming
like,
down from on high.
I feel like she was like commiserating, like Nana to Nana, and I was like,
oh,
okay, wow. But I think
Nana to Nana, our next podcast.
And so for those of you who pay really close attention, you will know that one time Jenny and I were at an interview that was Jenny's interview, but I was sitting in the room and the interviewer was a very young person. And after the interview said, "Oh, so is that your mom?" about me and Jenny. We were married at the time. Real cool. Super cool stuff all the way down. So anyway, when I texted Jenny, "Hey, the only thing better than Christ rising is this thing that just happened," she was like, "Wow, do you think if I was there, the woman at the counter would have thought it was 3 generations?" Anyway, I made myself feel better because I felt like perhaps like there are people in this world who could never be like, would see a 45-year-old and be like, clearly that's a grandmother. Like you're having kids when you're 20, you're a nana by the time you're 40 or 45. So like, I just
totally.
very much believe that
The
that's
nana
what was
is in
happening
the eye
there.
of the beholder.
Yeah.
I think is what's going on.
Clearly, this 45-year-old didn't just have a baby. But you know what? She did. She did. And I even, in my mind, made it that she was like, she's probably 40, so she has to be a nana. Like, she thought I was 40, not 45. Like, clearly, I look at least 40. Anyway, that story was for you, Jenny, and for everybody else who wants to love me. And Heather, for you specifically, because you said you love Stewart's. My current wife called Stewart's a gas station a few weeks ago, and I was like, this is grounds for second divorce. I will divorce a second time because Stewart's is not a gas station. It includes gas, but it is not a gas station. How's everyone doing? What were we talking about?
The last thing I remember is that you asked me if I've watched anything lately besides Survivor. I've been watching the extended edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. A little bit at a time.
Again, or for the first
at bedtime?
time?
Again. I rotate through certain film series that make me sleepy at bedtime.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Oh, no. I mean, it's like, sorry. Lord of the Rings extended edition is amazing. But it's also very, like, I was going to say lush and peaceful, but I guess that's really kind of the first part of the first movie. Then there's a lot of sort of like burning of forests and war. Anyway, that's not what we're, I'm sorry, here to talk about.
Can you ask me 2 questions about Lord of the Rings, of which I've seen the extended editions one time to see if I remember things? Just like any two, probably like the easiest 2 questions.
Name 2 hobbits.
Frodo. And that guy that he has a crush on, who's really nice. Sam.
You did it. Okay, bonus round. What are their last names?
Frodo.
And also, what's Sam's full name?
Frodo
like his full
Baggins.
first name.
And Sam's full name?
It's longer than Sam.
Samuel Jennings.
You're not even trying.
I was. I mean, I'm not trying in that I know it's not Samuel Jennings, but I went through Samuel Spratt, which is the name of a cat in a book that I read to Sal. And Sam.
Okay.
Sam. I have no idea, Jenny. I literally have not. Can you give me a clue?
Samwise Gamgee.
Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar. Sauron is a big eye.
What? What's that got to do with anything?
No, okay.
No. Oh,
I'm just trying to get extra credit.
Yes, totally. How many dragons appear in the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
0. Yes.
Okay, but what big flying thing appears here and there instead?
I have no idea. A monkey.
A flying monkey?
Okay, you can't
think
say
saw
a flying monkey like that. They exist in the land of Oz. They exist. I just...
But now you think a flying monkey? You think you saw a flying monkey in the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I'm just trying to think of what flies in mystical fantasy land that is not a dragon, and the only thing that I came up with was a monkey, which honestly isn't that wild because that's another fantasy land where something flies.
Just because it's big and flying doesn't mean it's mystical.
A giant bird.
Go on.
Big giant bird that likes to eat hobbits. No. A big giant bird that also wants the ring.
Eagles, giant eagles.
Why? Why are they giant?
Well, I guess that is magical or whatever, but or otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
But like, they're still eagles.
They're just big. Like rodents of unusually large size, but eagles of unusually large size.
Yes.
Someone in the chat is driving a car, I think. And like, listen, I see that you're wearing your seatbelt, but it's freaking me out. Those are things that I don't want to know about what happens while we're live. Okay. Everyone's having a great time on this special edition of Feels Like the First Time. Jenny, do you want to talk about any secrets?
Yeah, I guess we should talk about secrets. Did we have an agenda to talk about the book in a certain way?
No, it was just, what do you want to know? We're here.
Oh, true.
Somebody did ask, let me try to remember the other, because there was the question that we were answering, and then somebody had also asked, that we said we didn't include that I Only Have Eyes for You as our wedding song in the book, and was there any other thing? I can answer for Jenny right now. Was there anything else left out of the book that you would have liked to put in? And I will answer for Jenny, no, I didn't even want the things that were put in the book to be in the book.
Correct.
But I don't think that there was anything that we felt like, this should be part of the story. Like, I felt like we got in the things we really wanted to get in.
Haven't we said enough?
Jesus Christ. Jenny, are you happy that the book is out? Like, you were somebody that was reluctant to put your story on paper, right? Because it wasn't a song. It was really like, this is what happened. So now it's out. Would you, if given the chance to take it back, would you take it back or would you leave it out?
I would leave it out.
Okay. Why? Why would you leave it out?
Because it would just be like such a hassle to like undo it.
I think we should have episodes where I just grill Jenny. And I'm like, hey, Jenny, so I know that these are some of your feelings. Discuss.
That sounds simply awful.
Yes, and it's called That's None of My Business. Beautiful. Standing ovation, Stacy. Stacy with a Y gets that standing ovation. Okay, so you would leave the book out there, and it's just because it would just be too much work to take it back.
Oh my God, get it all the way back in the whatever from whencever it came.
Are you glad that I dragged your feelings out of you onto the page?
Glad is not the word that I would use.
Great. What is the word you would use? Thankful.
I
grateful,
am resigned.
Ever in my debt.
I accept that this happened.
That was the working title. That was the other title for the book. I accept that it happened. Wow.
I would actually be open to a limited series or occasional special episode of None of My Business. That actually sounds pretty fun.
Yes. I would be I am literally like, my whole life has led up to that moment. No one is more qualified than me.
I'm going to warn you, though, that you're going to try to ask me questions about like whatever you are.
Yeah, but I'm a sneaky bitch.
But I'm just going to talk to you about Survivor. So
that's what you think. Jenny.
Yes.
Do you want to tell a secret?
Seems really out of character for me, but did you want to tell a secret?
I mean, sure, but which secret?
There's a lot to love about OneSkin. Yes, they're founded by an all-woman team of longevity scientists. Yes, they're rooted in rigorous science and research. And yes, their products are certified safe for sensitive skin. But my favorite thing about OneSkin is the visible results. I've been using OneSkin's OS1 face moisturizer for a long time now, and the reason that I've stuck with it is very simple. The results speak for themselves. My skin feels smoother, firmer, healthier, and OS1 fits seamlessly in my daily skincare routine. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co/buffering. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Okay. I've never been someone who uses makeup regularly. I usually don't like the way that it makes me feel, and I don't really like the way that it makes me look. But I've always had a couple of go-to products that I use for going out or when I just need to feel a little bit brighter and a little bit more ready to seize the day, if you will. Jones Road has a couple of products that I really love. Top among them is their Miracle Balm. You can use it as so many things. You can use it as a highlighter, as a bronzer, as a blush, as a lip tint. It is so easy to use. You can apply it using your fingers. It is quick. And I am someone who does not have the patience to take a lot of time to do these things. So it works very well for me. They also just released something called Lip Recharge, which is specifically, as you might have guessed, for your lips. It's a lip treatment that does a whole lot of stuff for your lips. It refreshes, it smooths, it hydrates, and it also nourishes. I use their moisturizer too. Their products are clean. They're using good ingredients. Jones Road is modern day makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional for effortless routines. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free shimmer face oil on their first purchase when they use code buffering at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code buffering at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Okay, so we're trying to time a bunch of things. One of them is that it is our 10th anniversary as a podcast. Like right now, almost. September.
Well, not September. Kristen,
I'm sorry, but
I've never met anyone in my life who rounds up as hard as Kristen does.
It's not rounding up. It's just like people do anniversary years. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking 2026. We started in 2016. Suck my dick.
She's basically 46, says the chat.
I mean, yeah, like I agree. I don't round up only in my favor.
Okay.
I am basically 46. Okay, so we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. I feel like I would like to deliver this as save this date if you're near this place. And then the rest can follow.
That's such a great, yeah.
Yeah, you agree? We don't plan anything beforehand. We're lucky that we're here, honestly. Jenny literally put her 3-year-old to sleep to scramble here. And I had to corral my mother and my sister out of the room while my wife put my infant to sleep to get here. Toddler. I guess she's a toddler now. Anyway, if you're in the East Coast area, specifically close to New York, then maybe if you don't already have plans on, say, like the 16th or the 17th of October, you should, like, hang on to that freedom so that maybe you want to spend it in a place where we also will be doing something fun to celebrate somehow doing this for 10 years. Can you believe it?
I can't.
You know what? Nana can. Only a Nana could be doing something for that long. Okay, so that's semi-secret number one.
Semi-secret number one.
And
October 16th and 17th, somewhere in the New York area.
I don't think that anybody really cares about the behind the scenes production of it all, but these things are very difficult. It's like we're in season 2 and we end season 2 at this time. Where will we be in October with season 3? What do we want to be doing there? And honestly, all of you guys are like, totally Faith, Hope, and Trick. It's not. You're wrong. So you're wrong. That's not the episode we're trying to time. But basically, we need to hang out for a minute before we start season 3 so that we can make the anniversary event really hit. And to do that, I agreed to do something very special for Jenny that she's been asking me to do for a really long time, which is to watch Survivor.
Oh.
Just kidding. Xena Warrior Princess. Also, really behind the scenes earlier today, I was like, Jenny, do you have time for a quick call? I'm putting together production stuff, right? Can we just talk through the summer and our plans? And she was like, yeah, totally, no problem. I'll call you at 1. At 1, I was getting myself a tea. So I was like, and I left my phone in the office. So I was like, Avanti, can you just text Jenny and tell her that I will call her in 5 minutes when I get my tea and I get back out to the desk. Avanti sends Jenny a text. I get to my desk at 1:06. I call Jenny and Jenny answers the phone like this. I'm so sorry I haven't called you yet. I'm just trying to get together a post for Instagram. And I was like, you were supposed to call me at 1. So then I'm like, call me back, but don't take longer than 5 minutes, okay? So she calls me back, and I'm like, okay, so here's my thought about Xena. What do you think? And she said, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I wasn't paying attention. And I was like, I literally was like,
look,
bitch, straight up, I am doing this podcast because you have begged me for a year to do it. So you better pay attention.
Sometimes I just wasn't paying attention,
Never.
Kristen.
Jenny is
I am who I am. Our Lauren Eggert Crow asked a question for each of you. Which part of the book were you most excited while writing? Like the part where you really felt like you were in the zone. And I wanted to say that I've never felt in the zone a single moment of my entire life. However,
Okay.
if forced to pick, I felt like the least like an imposter when I was writing the little song chord sheet explainer appendix. Thank you.
I just feel like as a witness to the writing process, I have maybe never seen you so inspired than standing at like the sliding glass door of my Airbnb, delivering vocally summaries of the seasons for me to transcribe for Jenny. Like she would just like lean on the door and be like, okay. So, pan across Sunnydale High School, zoom in on. You were very inspired for those sections.
Okay.
Do you agree?
No, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very excited to witness you in your, really artistic form. Honestly, like, not to be so real, but the second chapter was kind of like a rewrite. The whole journey through miscarriage I had written for Autostraddle, and like we went back to that article and like pulled some pieces and what have you. So that was like, I didn't have to like go as deep there because I had already done it. It was just sort of like repackaging it and figuring out like what parts were whose. But the third chapter, so the way I look at the book is like, okay, first chapter is election, second chapter is miscarriage, third chapter is private divorce, fourth chapter is public divorce, fifth chapter is like pandemic and everything just hitting the absolute fan in all the ways. Sixth chapter is writing a musical, seventh chapter is holy shit, it's over. That's how I, hold all the chapters. And third chapter, private divorce, I think was where I most like had to really get in it, and just like pull, because the other bits, I mean, obviously, right? Public divorce, like we'd already done it publicly, like we'd already dialogued publicly, written publicly. Second chapter, I had already like dug through a lot of that and written some of it down. And then presidential election and other stuff, it didn't feel like I had to like challenge myself as much to go and like relive. But the third chapter, really, it was like, what happened? And I think, if you're here and you've like gone through anything close to a divorce, you don't like relive that. It's bad enough to live it once. So like that was very, very real for me in a way that like then this is where Jenny and I could not be more different, that I like really reveled in. Like I like to like just like fucking stick my hands into the muck and see what's there. And so I got lost in that chapter and I found it very powerful. You can tell that Jenny is so moved and she's thinking, wow, how lucky am I that I get to work alongside this person? Yeah, Carl, I felt for you having to write the third chapter while I was reading it. I've written about my divorce, and so has my ex, but neither of us went that deep. You didn't have me around to drag it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I'm sure I've like sort of like iterated this before, but I feel like a lot of the work that I've done is wound up pulling like years and years and years ago when I made videos about being gay. It's like my mom and I sat down to make a video about when I came out to her like 10 years, 15 years prior or whatever it was. And it was very different in terms of like emotions and what have you, but it was a very similar experience of just like, who does this? Like who sits down and says like, okay, so when this happened 15 years ago, like what were you feeling? What was I feeling? Like we can look back. It was a really cool experience. And, a thing that I think is maybe hard to do or scary to do, but okay, those are all my feelings, Jenny. Jenny.
Nice feelings, Kristin.
Shimmying her shoulders for the listeners at home.
It's for you.
Oh,
I mean, you're explaining for them, and I was doing the act for you.
Thank you so much.
We each bring our special talents to the table.
Somebody's talking about sobbing in the driver's seat while listening to the audiobook, which, like, I'm glad you were moved, but please drive safe. I'm suddenly so
Were you
concerned about
parked in the
everyone
driver's seat?
driving. Just somebody just said, second book, question mark?
Get out of here. But also every once in a while I'm like,
Yeah, once a published author, now Jenny's like, but it was fun. It's hard to know. It's like doing a podcast about a TV show feels eternal, but like a book, it's like, okay, so we wrote it and we did it and you read it. And then what do you do? And you kind of start to understand why people write another book. It's probably like why people have another baby, because you're like, well, I guess, well, we did it, so we should probably just do it again. Although, Jenny, honestly, I care about you, but I don't know if I could ever write a book with you again. That was hard. That was hard.
No. When I said second book, I was picturing myself.
Oh, I know how you
looking
were
back at one set of footprints.
and a smoking jacket and a pipe. I know how you were picturing yourself.
Well, only because we already, like, what else?
There's nothing else
for us to write.
Yeah.
But Lauren Eggert Crow could see me writing a children's book, and so could I.
Honestly, I've been thinking a lot about writing a children's book too. Jenny, you've been thinking about writing a children's book since like a million billion years ago. I actually remember the idea for your children's book, and I won't let it out here in the public sphere. That's a secret I will keep. It's a great idea, and you should do it. Secrets!
Oh my gosh. Well, I've certainly read enough children's books now to really be, what's that word?
An expert?
Well
versed, fluent.
Yeah, I guess well versed,
Ready.
like something like well versed, but not exactly that. But that's enough.
Okay, I have a question. Do you
Yes.
have a favorite children's book that you read to Aldrich now? Because I know there's like, eras of children's
Oh
books.
man, my favorite book that's like currently in the mix. Well, sorry, I'm going to tell you my favorite book from before.
Okay.
And my favorite book from now.
Okay, great.
Good Dog Carl.
Oh. Jenny bought Good Dog Carl for Sal also.
This dog. First of all, it's a fantasy because at the beginning of the book, the mom says, Carl, I have to go out. Carl is a Rottweiler. Watch the baby. And then the ensuing, 24 pages are images of the dog, like looking out the window, making sure she's gone, going to the crib, getting the baby to crawl on his back. The baby like rides him around like a horse. They skirk into the kitchen.
The baby goes down the laundry chute.
Yeah. Carl pulls all kinds of snacks out of the kitchen. They listen to records. The baby goes swimming in the fish tank. Oh, they do makeover.
Uh-huh.
They crawl up on the vanity. And the baby does her own makeup and also Carl's. The dog, at one point, Carl looks at the clock and is like, oh shit, mom's going to be home soon. There are no words except when the lady leaves at the beginning and comes back at the end. There's just like one page of words at either end of the book. And then Carl cleans up all the snacks that are like the milk that's spilled on the floor, etc. Gives the baby a bath, puts her back in her crib, and then like lays down next to the crib just as mom comes in and is like, oh, good dog, Carl. No.
Notably, I'm so sorry.
Don't leave your baby home alone with the dog.
You can't say that Carl gives the baby a bath without saying that Carl gives the baby a bath in the baby's clothes and then uses a blow dryer to dry the baby and the baby's clothes. Which is my personal favorite part of the book.
It's great. It's great. But yeah, so highly recommend Good Dog Carl. And then my favorite book right now is actually a book that Joanna sent for Aldrich, which is called The Goblin Market. Nope, Into the Goblin Market. And it is very beautiful. It's like got like a woodcut or like lino cut kind of stylization to the illustrations, and it's all black, white, and red, and it's about two sisters and goblins.
Wait, like they're sisters but also goblins, or there are sisters and also there are goblins?
There are two sisters, and then there are also some goblins unrelated.
Okay.
They're not
just
the
like
same.
they're hobbits and eagles.
Just like that.
Okay, great.
And 2 pennies and 1 matchbox. Thank you, Diana.
Was that your full summary of goblins, or are you reading
Do you want me to tell you the story?
chat? Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm scared.
Spoilers for Into the Goblin Market. It's not scary. It's like these 2 sisters. They couldn't be more different. One of them is bookish and timid and a homebody, and the other is wild and like wants to get out there and see the world and wreak havoc and do dangerous things. And one day it's revealed that the goblin market has come to town, and Mina, the daring sister, really wants to go, but Millie is like, we're not supposed to do that. It's dangerous. It's like bad vibes. Like, no.
Clearly the older sister.
It's never said. Honestly, siblings are dating. Not sure.
Okay.
Millie wakes up in the middle of the night to discover that Mina has run off to the goblin market. So then Millie is like, fuck. She like reads a bunch of fairy tales to like prep, packs a crust of bread and some soft wool and a red cloak, and she goes off to the goblin market. Wow, I'm just telling you the whole fucking story, and I want to apologize for that, but also I can't be stopped. So she gets to the goblin market, and she's immediately confronted by like a big shaggy wolf, and she's like, back off, shaggy wolf, even though she's like shaking in her boots. Then she encounters various goblins of the goblin market who are like kind of recognizable figures from like the Snow White witch with the apple, and like the Pied Piper, and like they're these sort of like iconic tempters.
Okay.
And each one tries to get her to like eat food or like listen to the song he's playing or whatever. Like all of these things that will kind of draw her into the world or like make her succumb to their power, right? But, you know, she says no to the sweet treat and eats her crust of bread. She stuffs the wool in her ear as the Pied Piper starts playing his song. And then she like, you know, she's been to every stall and she hasn't found her sister. And she's like, I'm gonna come back and try tomorrow, I guess. And they're like, you can't leave. You haven't bought anything. That's the rule. You know, we get to keep you if you don't buy something. So she's like sweating and does not know what to do. But then she like has a little light bulb go off in her brain and is like, I'm going to buy the wolf. The wolf, who it's suddenly revealed has a red ribbon around its neck, just like Mina wore in her hair. And the goblins are like furious. They're like, you can't do that. And she's like, well, if that's against the rules, you should have specified, but you didn't. And therefore I shall buy the wolf and take it home. And she takes the wolf home, and the goblin market is, you know, receding in the distance. And she is like hugging the wolf's neck and crying into its fur. And then it transforms back into Mina.
Whoa.
And they're like, woo, and they high five.
Honestly, they don't sound like sisters to me.
I know, right? It's like, it's quite a, it really got me. And so it's all written in like very beautiful rhyming verse. And the last page, like the last stanza, I wish Aldrich was awake so I could go get it and read it to you. But the last stanza is about like how the most precious treasure in all the world is someone who would brave the goblin market just for you.
Wow.
Yeah, they're probably dating, right?
Oh, yeah. At least by Jenny's telling.
They were roommates.
For those of you making lists of children's books, please also add, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. But if you don't know the big orange splot, that's the one that gets me as emotional.
It's so good.
As Jenny. It is just about this guy who lives in a town and all the houses are the same. And then one day some paint gets spilled on his house. It's a big orange spot of paint, in case you didn't infer that. And the neighbors are like, no, absolutely fucking not. Your house can't look like this. It has to look like the rest of the houses. Paint your house. And he's like, you know what? No, actually, I'm not going to paint my house. Wait, no, I am going to paint my house. And then he paints more orange spots on it. And then he paints faces on it and elephants and tigers. And then when they get mad, he like goes and gets a hammock and an alligator and makes lemonade. And they're like, yo, you got to talk to this guy. Somebody has to talk to this guy. His house can't look like this. And his neighbor goes over. And then when he leaves, he changes his house to be the way that he wants his house to be. And there's just this like recurring line that's, I am my house. No, my house is me and I am it. My house is where I like to be and it looks like all my dreams. And it's so beautiful. And it's like, it's not out of print because you can like order it. But when you order the book, it's like this little flimsy thing and you can get like the library edition that has a hardcover. But it's just like, it should be, in my opinion, if you're like at all in power to republish a book or like bring a book to the front of the room, the big orange spot. It's beautiful. It was gifted to us by a friend. And that friend was like, pretty sure this is what let me know it was okay to be gay. Like 100%. Like I was a child, but like I picked up the message that like I needed to be the person that I was. Anyway, kids' books.
While you were sharing the tale of that book, which is such a great, wonderful, beautiful book, someone dropped a Wikipedia article link to what I can only assume Into the Goblin Market, the children's book, is based off of, which is Goblin Market, an 1862 narrative poem by Christina Rossetti. And let me tell you something. I'm looking at an illustration for the cover, and it's of two sisters, Laura and Lizzie, and they do not look like sisters.
That's what I'm talking about.
Is it what you're talking about?
Yeah. I knew they weren't sisters.
Okay.
They're fucking never sisters, you know? What are you reading? Are you reading the poem now? It's just like, I appreciate you, but it's not necessarily the best choice for a podcast.
I'm reading about Christina Rossetti because I was like, I wonder if she was gay, and that's why she wrote this thing. But guess what she wrote? The lyrics to the Christmas Carol in the Bleak Midwinter.
Oh, wow. Sounds gay, honestly. What's more gay than the Bleak Midwinter? Am I right?
You know, when you put it like that.
Okay.
Wow.
We've talked about our book a little bit. We've talked about children's books way more. We've talked about my feelings, and we've tried to talk about Jenny's. Thanks for celebrating our book's anniversary with us. Sorry that we didn't have an agenda. We're not really agenda people these days, you know? Jenny's never been an agenda person, to be fair. I just also am now not an agenda person.
When you say agenda,
I mean like an agenda of plans. I don't mean like an agenda, like you're going to talk about this thing by hook or by crook. You always have that kind of agenda.
I prefer both hook and crook if I have my druthers.
Jenny, any last words before we bid adieu?
I can't believe it's been a year since we made our little book. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years since we started making this podcast. What is the nature of existence?
It's been almost 20 years sinse we met.
Shush.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Thanks for hanging out with us. What a treat. What a delight. I hope we did a good job as usual. I, as usual, hope that we did a good job.
I hope we did a good job as usual because we always do a good job.
We are so different. Until we meet again, thank you, everyone, for being nice. And we like you. And I'm going to end the Zoom. And Kristen, I'm going to stop recording in Pro Tools too.
Okay, great.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Selling your car should feel like one less thing on your list, not one more. With Carvana, it is. Just go to Carvana.com, enter your license plate or VIN, and get a real offer down to the penny. No back and forth, no surprises, just an experience you can trust. Like your offer? Accept it. Schedule pickup, and we'll come to you with a check in hand. Your car, your timeline, your terms. Visit Carvana.com to sell your car today.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
From the parents behind Law & Order comes a mystery the whole family can enjoy. Patrick Picklebottom Everyday Mysteries. Step into the whimsical world of Patrick Picklebottom, a precocious 11-year-old with a love for reading and an uncanny ability to solve mysteries. Inspired by the beloved children's book of the same name, this podcast vividly brings Patrick's tales of deduction and everyday adventures to life as he unravels baffling enigmas and solves clever cases. Patrick Picklebottom Everyday Mysteries is perfect for kids and is just as entertaining for grown-ups who love a good mystery. The whole family can listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.